see. From The Walking Dead, you know him from Slayer, you know him as Yondu, Dad and Chris Pratt. Please, Richmond, show your love.
What you want to say on this forum, and as you know, I'm always a very clean, very honest individual.
Very tame, very honest, very clean.
Very relaxed, very cool, calm. Like who would you? What would be another example of this?
Of this
style
this whole thing right here? Who would be another example of that?
Dave Batista?
Maybe Dave Batista. You're serving the role of Dave Batista times 2. All we need is Yondu right now. All we need Yondu right now. Is Yondu
right now. David will be here momentarily. And of course, I was not willing to wait around, so
I just took this time.
Let's just go do it.
Hey,
thank you for coming, everybody. Who was the guy that was here last? Who was it?
It was Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
He said everybody left.
Right in the middle.
After he did his talk, everybody left.
They cleared out.
Dreams.
Well, before we take questions, the microphone's here and here, so hop up there, folks, and ask a question. But I just saw some news that you're getting a like kind of an action figure treatment and doing the Disney Infinity game. This
You did that? I mean, wow, that is in my wildest dreams ever as a performer, actor, artist. I never thought ever that Disney would be making a toy of me.
There's something.
And duets. There's no way. This is like a dream from a
It's like Bizarro World.
Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
You know, oh no, God, I was worse then. No, shh.
Disney and Michael Rooker together is like parallel universe weirdness stuff, but so good. And that's so perfect. So you will all be able to get your own little Michael Rooker to carry around with you. Let's go ahead and take a question.
Where would you put your little Michael Rooker? Where would you put your little Michael Rooker?
Then maybe this lady has an answer.
Who's got an answer? Honey, where would you put your little Michael Rooker?
In a very clean fashion.
If you got to carry a little Michael Rooker around with you 24/7, where would you place him? Inside your what? Beside what?
My pillow at night.
Beside your pillow? At night? Oh, silly woman.
You had a question, though.
I'm sorry, baby. What's your question?
My name is Courtney, and I'm a huge Walking Dead fan.
Season 5. Anybody ready for season 5? Now, you know what? I may be dead and gone, but I'm still a fan. And I tell you what, I ain't gonna give them any quarter. If they throw bullshit out at me, I'm gonna let you know.
As you should.
That's all I'm saying. Norman, you better make sure that everything is written the way I like it.
It's like the ghost of Merle just hangs
The
over
ghost of Merle passed. I'll be watching.
But you had a question.
You did have a question. What's your question, honey?
My question is, when you got the script and found out they were going to kill off Merle, what was your first reaction?
When I was what?
When you found out that they were going to kill off Merle, what was your reaction?
Really? My honest reaction was, what a big mistake. What a major mistake. You're killing off a faction, a piece of the puzzle that creates friction in a loving, somewhat comedic, racist, sexist way. Yeah, kind of like, that's how I would describe it.
The lovable scamp of the zombie apocalypse. Yeah.
Thank you, honey.
Hi there, how are you?
Hi.
Nice to see you again. So my question for you, being that Walking Dead and Guardians are two of my favorite things, and your characters absolutely have been amazing, but just the inside details, Norman Reedus and Chris Pratt, cool as I think they are, or your first my bubble bro?
Norman Reedus and Chris Pratt? What about them?
Are they as cool as we all think they are?
Of course they are. They truly are. They're like brothers to me. Chris Pratt is like my son that I treat in a loving, caring manner. You saw Guardians of the Galaxy, right? When my son says to me, you can hit me harder, Rooker, hit me harder. And I love him so, I hit him a little bit harder. But it was just a little bit more than he could take. I'm sorry. He ended up okay. He can walk. So
He's in good enough condition for Guardians of the Galaxy too, right?
they're both awesome guys, yeah. Thank you.
Hey.
Hey, my question for Rooker is, what was your favorite scene from The Walking Dead, and what disturbed you about any of the episodes in the season that you were in?
Wow.
That's a two-parter, so
That's
let's
a
stick with
two-part
one.
question.
Let's stick with the first part.
My favorite scene was the moment they left me on the rooftop. And Frank Darabont wrote a 4.5-minute monologue. Remember that? It was 115 degrees on that rooftop. 110 degrees coming from the bottom, 115 coming from the top, probably. I was roasting, and in my mind, I thought Merle must have been there for at least 3 days or so. He was frying. His brain was pretty much melting, and he was going in and out of delirium. And it was a beautifully written piece. And I didn't even know it was there, because everyone kept saying, oh yeah, by the way, you're in the next episode. And I'm like, yeah, I know. He said, no, you are in the next episode. I said, dude, it's my hand on the roof. I know I'm in the next episode. And they said, and they were like, no. You're in the next episode. And I said, well, where is it? I don't see it. Because I'm reading a script that's like a week old or something like that. I didn't even know there was a monologue there. And then literally the day I packed my car and I was going back to LA. And they were like, dude, you can't go anywhere. You're in the next episode. And I'm like, what? And I start reading, and I realize, oh, I'm in the next episode. No one really told me I was in the next episode because I didn't really see it with my own eyes. But when I saw it and I read it, it was by far the best writing that I had experienced in almost my entire career. That is my favorite scene.
That's terrifying. He's like a friend to actors. He knows how to write for actors.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah. Hi, over here.
What was your favorite part of recording Guardians of the Galaxy?
My favorite part of what?
Filming Guardians of the Galaxy.
Of the Guardians of the Galaxy? Almost every instance I was on camera. It was such a joy to be in that movie. It was so much fun. I didn't have to pick ticks off my body. I mean, people ask me all the time, which was harder, The Walking Dead or Guardians of the Galaxy? The Walking Dead is a killer production. I mean, you are hot and sweaty and tired and you get hurt and you get unhurt and then you get hurt again on the same spot. I mean, it's a rough, tough and tumble production. Not to say that Guardians of the Galaxy didn't have its pitfalls and some rough choreography and fight scenes and stuff like that. But as Yondu, I didn't have to do any of that because I gotta tell you what, the Yondu had the most awesome weapon of choice.
And when you get to use it,
Yeah. I don't know, did I answer your question?
Yeah.
My favorite, again, I don't even have a favorite part. It was all really good. It was all just like a dream come true. I love being in it.
Well, let me say this. You're going to want to put your hands together because the guy that's about to come out, he's actually so big that literally nothing goes over his head. Please show your love, Richmond, for Batista Drax. Since you're both here, let me congratulate you together. Guardians of the Galaxy is the first movie of 2014 to surpass $300 million. That is huge. That news just came out, so congratulations on that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much.
I'm really happy for change. Like more than anybody, I think I'm just happy for change.
You know what? I am as well. He's my buddy, he's my pal. We've been pals for a long time now. And it's like, wow, his stuff is so bitchin'.
He is. He's just so talented, man. Does he even get, that recognition?
Yes.
Well, let's keep on with the questions. Yes, sir, over here.
This is for Bautista. Which one do you think is better? Drax or unedited?
Better at love?
Who taught you to just put people right on the spot?
Look, I know I can answer that really quick, but
I think I could answer that, but I just want to be respectful, so I'm going to let Michael answer.
Clarify your question. Better at doing what?
Just better in every way.
This is pretty good. What do you guys think?
Yondu is blue. But Batista's character, Drax, has these awesome relief sculptures all over his body. And he can scream really loud, and he can throw people through windows and out into outer space. But then again, Yondu can go, and he can kill people. to James Gunn next time we see him.
Well, wait, what do you think? Who do you think is better? Yeah.
Yeah, who do you think's better?
Actors do this all the time. We're taught to answer a question with a question. So we're going to land on you.
I think y'all are both about the same.
You should be an politician.
He sounds like an agent. Yeah, or a producer.
Good question.
Good question. Hi, how are you?
Hi there. My question is for Michael Rooker. A lot of times in theater and film, the first thing we're taught is drop the accent, stop saying y'all, don't be Southern, and you've made a career being a wonderful Southern guy, and sometimes not so wonderful Southern guy. What are your thoughts on being a representative of Southern culture in film?
Representative of Southern culture.
I'm from Chicago.
This is pretty sad.
And that's why the South didn't win. I'm from the South!
Then I tell you what that is, though. That is why whenever, not to put down the Brits or anything, but whenever you get, and even the Brits don't like these guys, the really hoity-toity, better than thou British individual. I see redcoats killing my relatives. I can't help it. It just happens.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want to do, but I just want to tear things up and rip things apart and throw things down off buildings, and I don't know. I have a problem with stuff like that. I need help. I need help. No, you know what? I do love having. I do several little Southern. My natural accent is from Alabama, but I have good ears and I pick up the New Orleans sound, I pick up Georgia, I can pick up these nuances and I can change it and evolve it as I go along and create something unique. But I really, I haven't, in real life, I'm more of a Chicago guy, so I grew up in the inner city Chicago, and you know what, I had a really big, deep Southern accent. People couldn't even understand what I was saying, and they wanted to beat me up all the time. So I was like, I don't like being beaten up, so I'm going to try to be like the guys in the neighborhood. So I tried my best to change my accent and try to be like the guys at the park and the guys in my neighborhood, and that helped me develop my sort of like a combination Chicago Southern sound. And but I love pulling up the Southern. I love having that. That's beautiful.
I think the key word you used was unique. Because even when I saw the character Yondu in comics, and then you came and did, we went through rehearsals and stuff, and you did everything in your voice, but without, costume and everything. It was kind of hard to put my finger on until I saw you do it in costume. It's like, oh man, it's so bad. You turned Yondu into this, Ravager redneck. But it was just so different, and it was just so interesting, man. It just works.
And you know what? That wasn't my idea. That was James Gunn's choice. James Gunn, that was his choice early on in the beginning, before he even had finished writing it. He said, I want Yondu to have a Southern accent. I want Yondu to be a combination of Merle Dixon, Michael Rooker, and the real Yondu from the comics. And so that gave me the freedom to do almost anything I wanted, really.
And you became sort of this weird secret weapon because nobody had seen any footage of you, and then suddenly you take to the screen and it's like, oh, there's Rooker's Yondu.
Exactly, and I was in none of the previews and none of that stuff. And it's like everybody's wondering, is Rooker actually in this movie? And I mean, there are people who sort of like came up to me today and said, dude, I didn't even know you were in the movie. I'm just like watching Guardians of the Galaxy, and all of a sudden here's Michael Rooker. No way. And you know, I had no idea. I was still in the movie either. So.
All right, I think.
Thank you. That's good. Thank you.
I think one question for Rooker, and then he's got to get out of here. So yes, sir, over here.
I've got a question for you. Going back to working with Kevin Smith in Mallrats, do you have any stories about that?
Going back to where? Mallrats.
Mallrats with Kevin Smith.
What about Kevin?
Well, how did you know experience? Do you have any good stories about it?
Yes. Do you want to hear one?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Richmond wants to hear it.
All right, we were like, there was a break. We were having, we had our lunch, and the guys were up. You know, they're like those what are those things that got the wheels on them and you ride them?
Rollerblades?
Yeah, those skateboard things. Yeah, well, anyway, the guys are up there, all these cats are up there doing their skateboard things, and they're doing flips and tricks and all kinds of stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that is really awesome. And Kevin's looking at me and said, what you trying? And I said, you think I could? Could somebody let me try one of these things? And one of the cats came over, he went like this, and he went, shoot. And he flipped it, and it flipped up and landed right in front of me like that. And I said, wow. Okay. And then I got on it, and I balanced myself, and I got on it, and he wanted me to like do like one of those little things where you flip it, and land back down on it. Well, you know, the skateboards are like really important to these cats. So I flipped this little thing and I landed on it and it went like this. I broke it in half. And I'm like, what happened? And the guy was like almost, he didn't want to cry, but he was like, he was totally stunned. I was stunned too, because I thought I was going to be able to flip it, land on it, and just turn like a little circle and like flip it off and get off it and look really cool. But it didn't roll for me. I don't understand why it wouldn't roll for me. And I wasn't that heavy. I don't know how was I. Like, I was about 210 in that. But the little skateboard thing was not able to take the weight of a 210 person. And I'm not light on my feet. And of course, Kevin and all the other skateboarding geniuses on that piece were appalled. They were really appalled. They were like, it was not good. I had to go and buy the cat a brand new little roller thing.
Well, on that note, Richmond, we gotta send this guy off.
It's not over. The fun's not over. Go get him, boy.
Well, we could just talk crap about Rooker now.
But now I'm just going to put everybody to sleep.
No, not at all, because with Drax, that's another character that I don't think anybody knew what to expect going in, especially like your take on the character. Did you really were you surprised how people reacted to your characterization of Drax?
Yeah, I think they were, because I think they went in expecting one thing.
Yeah.
I think people either went in expecting one thing, or they just didn't know what to expect at all. They didn't have high hopes for me. They were expecting the worst.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting take, but it was mostly James Gunn. I mean, I got the job for certain reasons, but it was the way that James saw Drax.
Yeah. Cool. What was that first meeting like with Gunn? Like, did he lay out his plan for the whole?
No, it was great. It was actually my second audition. My first audition was pretty stressful, but when they actually called me and asked me if I'd come back and read for the director, like, then it became real. And so I came back in the next day, and I didn't sleep the night before, and I was just in a bad mood. I was just really nervous about this, really bad anxiety for auditions. And he came in, I came in, and he made me feel at ease, like right off the bat. He said, we'll sit around and talk a little bit. We sat around and talked, like, we're gonna go through this a bunch of times. It's no stress, man, just take it easy. And we just started, BSing and kind of talking before we even got to the audition. So I was already well comfortable before we got into it.
That seems like the best kind of director to work with, a guy that kind of puts you at ease.
And it was like that the whole way through filming. It was just nothing but fun and laughs.
He's a laid back guy. Like, he's a very cool guy. All right, where were the questions, I think? Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm a big fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was wondering how you got along with the other members of the cast.
James always has the best answer. We got asked that a lot, during the press tour. And he said, people would ask him, and he would say it's always the same generic answers you get from cast members. They always say, "Oh, we're such good friends. It was like a little family." And then he says, and like 99% of the time they're lying. But with us, we actually, like, right off the bat, we just all clicked very well. And I think that had a lot to do, again, with James and his casting, who he saw playing this and that role, and also, the chemistry that he thought he'd be able to create on set, because he just didn't want any drama. He wanted everybody in a very lighthearted atmosphere, and so he took that into consideration when he was casting. So, I think by the time we got to filming, we had already rehearsed so much and spent so much time together, socializing as well, that we were already gelling before we got into filming.
Yeah, and that's clear. That's obvious when, like, you and Rooker are on stage, or when Karen is out here as well.
It was like that with everybody, man. We just kind of all clicked together. We did a lot, we did stuff socially too, and just so we could get to know each other, and really, and everybody just kind of across the board. There was no divas on set, and it was just really, really a lot of fun.
Let's take a question over here. Hi there.
Hello, I was wondering, who is your favorite character from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Honestly, I think Rocket. I think I fell most in love with the group, but I think I just Rocket. He's that character. He's just, he's very small in stature, so you wouldn't expect, that attitude and that edge and his resourcefulness, and that's how he gets through life with just, an attitude and being resourceful and using his mind. I think Rocket, he's got some of the best lines, just being such a sarcastic little raccoon too. You want to root for him.
All of you guys had great lines across the board, but as far as the Drax line, what was the one that you liked the most, or maybe the one that people bring up the most too?
There was actually one that, and I've told the story before, and it was, first of all, let me tell you the story, how I got this line. We got to shoot it, but they cut it out. It's going to be actually in the deleted scenes on the DVD extra. But the reason why, there's an explanation why Drax doesn't like to wear shirts. And bad thing, right? That would be good. But he doesn't, we're going to rehearsal one day, and we'll read through our lines as usual, and I get to this one line, and I'm like, I looked up at James, like, I don't remember this line. He goes, that's because I just wrote it last night, but Drax is having trouble putting on the harness to go into outer space. And he's very uncomfortable with it, and Rocket's yelling at him, what the hell are you doing? And he says, I don't like wearing shirts. And Rocket says, why? He says, because I have sensitive nipples. There's some woman, I don't know if she's in here today, but she said I had small nipples.
Well, we'll keep the nipple conversation to a minimum at the panel, but you can find that on the DVD, so something to look forward to. Let's take a question over here, I think, right? Hi.
You found out who the rest of the cast was that kind of like a
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
When you found out like who the rest of the cast was, like was that finding who or was that make up like, oh crap, or was it like, okay, it's worth these guys?
No, it was oh crap. Yeah, I mean, just in general, the whole experience overall was so much bigger than anything I'd ever done. And it's like I was taking baby steps in acting. I was really on the grind. I mean, as far as going into film, transitioning into films, and I was constantly auditioning. I was trying to get roles. I was being very picky and choosy about the roles that I took. But it's like I was, it's like baby steps, and then I took this huge step, and it was just so over my head. And it was something I never thought was attainable. I didn't think I was going to get the job. My agent gave me very low hopes, even going into the audition. He said, "That's a long shot, but I wasn't going to go and read for it because I got the audition. I had to fight to get you in." Well, thanks for the confidence. But yeah, so it was just the whole thing. It was like even today, I sit here and just still real surreal. I mean, it really is. It was just. I'll never forget the first time that somebody called me Drax, like on the street. It's so much bigger than anything I thought I'd ever do. And it was where, when it really hit me as far as the other cast members, is when I was on the Kimmel Show. So I'd never, done Kimmel Show, which kind of a weird thing. But then, like, being right there with all of them was the first time that I'd ever been in that small, tiny little space with all of them. And it was just weird. It just didn't seem real at all. Not at all.
Cool, thank you. Good question. Hey there.
Since finishing the film, what's been the craziest fan experience you've had?
The craziest fan experience? I don't know, for me it's like crazier the better. I love all this stuff.
Dave, just be careful with what you're saying.
I do. I love all this stuff, and I love that the fans are so into it. And like I was going to comic conventions well before I was cast in this, well before I was even doing films. And I love all this stuff, which is part of the problem that I have when I'm here because everybody comes to me. And my autograph lines are really slow because I want to stop and talk to everybody. And if you got a costume on, I want to check it out and I want to look at your t-shirt and say, "Where'd you get that t-shirt?" Because I have all this stuff now. This is what I love. So it's like crazier the better, man. It's like there's nothing kind of bad about it. I just love it. The more unusual, the better.
I've seen some Drax cosplayers, people dressed up as Drax. That's kind of
I've seen a couple. I haven't seen I'm waiting to see some big jacked up bodybuilder guy come through the door. Because usually the Draxes I've seen so far have been 150 pounds.
It's like the before photo of Drax.
I just want to give him a hug. It's okay.
It's okay. Hi there.
What did you do to prepare mentally and emotionally for the role of Drax?
This is going to be a really boring answer, but I just studied my lines. No, I really listened. There was advice, and it was good advice that my acting coach gave me. And he said, don't be over-prepared. He said, be professional, know your lines, but go to set with an open mind because you want to be able to be directed and you want to be able to bounce off of your other cast members. So if you have one thing in mind, they have another thing in mind, and you guys go in two different directions, it's just not going to work. It's bad chemistry. So just know your lines, be professional, and that's it. Go to set, know your lines. And that way you go and you get very conversational. Everything becomes conversational, especially with the cast I was working with, especially James. I mean, a lot of improv, man. These guys are letting stuff just fly off the cuff. So you got to be able to kind of just go with it. So I wasn't over-rehearsed. I knew my lines. That was what I did. I knew my lines, and I just said, that's why I did it.
And it worked. Simple but effective.
Thank you.
Hi there.
Hi. I understand that in your past you have some dubious parts of your past when you were living in DC. I was wondering how it feels to go from coming all the way from that to going to WWE and now all the way up to being an actor in Hollywood.
Again, it's like one of those things. It's very surreal, man. It's like a dream come true. It hasn't. I think a lot of people, when they meet me, I think they're surprised at my personality, and I always tell people they got to understand that I was dirt poor until I was well into my 30s. I mean, I struggled my whole life, and my childhood, we were very poor. I mean, to the point sometimes we couldn't afford food poor. And then with everything, I really struggled with everything. I had kids young, and I was just constantly on the grind, just trying to make, an honest living. It wasn't until I was almost 30 where I said, I just got to do something with my life. I'm not succeeding at anything, and my children now that are counting on me. So that's when I went into wrestling. And it's kind of a whirlwind from there. I mean, it was just hard work, and I just kind of never stopped. And I never just gave up on trying to achieve the next step and do something bigger and something better, and kind of pursue my next dream. So it's just, it's one of those things where I haven't changed. I'm still the same guy on the inside. But when I see, when I'm sitting up here and you're asking me questions, to me, it doesn't even seem real. It's weird. It's a dream.
All right, thank you. We only have time for probably 2 quick questions, so I'm gonna start off with you. Yes, sir.
Hi, Dave. I know most people here because of Guardians of the Galaxy, but I'm a big fan of you from WWE. I think you have the coolest theme song in history, but when you came back this year, I really wanted to apologize for the poor reaction you got, because when I first saw you come back and slam that pretty in the ring, I jumped out of my chair. I thought it was awesome. But my big thing is, what was your least favorite match you ever worked, and why was it the Punjabi prison match?
Actually, it's funny, man. I'm actually really proud of that match, because they gave us, for one, Kali, and I love him to death, man, because he's the nicest guy, but he's the hardest guy in the world to work with. It's just not easy. He's just, he's a little bit difficult, a little argumentative. If he doesn't want to do something, he's not doing it. He's not afraid to, not be generous. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. And if you don't want to do it, you're not going to be able to do it unless he wants to cooperate. But the stuff that we were able to achieve in that match, considering, it was kind of a stupid match. It was just, I don't know who brainstormed and came up with that, but it was kind of a stupid thing. But I was proud of it at the end of the day. But I had struggled with a few guys like Bradshaw and I. We never had good chemistry. We struggled a little bit. But I think, overall, I'm pretty happy with my career. Even my comeback, when I came back, I was never the guy who minded being booed. I just wanted to be booed for the right reasons. And I just couldn't understand why, everybody was so hateful. And it was, and not just myself. There was certain things that really, I took a little personally, like Rey Mysterio getting booed at the Royal Rumble this year. That made me sick to my stomach, man. Rey's sacrificed so much for this business. And for him to come out and them to just boo him just because he's not Daniel Bryan made me sick to my stomach. It made me sick to my stomach. So there was things like that I just didn't understand. I'm not completely unhappy with, my return and the way it worked out. With the fans, I was really more unhappy with the company, because creatively they didn't get behind me at all. And it was very frustrating. It was like pulling teeth to get anything done there. That's what I was unhappy about.
All right. Okay, thank you. Final question, please make it super brief.
I got a question. If Drax the Destroyer and the Animal Batista were to get in the fight, who do you think would win?